Good evening, everyone. Geetha Krishnan here on Gratitude Radio, Gratitude Leadership Summit 2020. And we're all super excited to continue with our tradition of gratitude, the coffee mugs and everything at all together. Today we have an amazing guest. And before I share more about my dearest, sweetest friend, let me share why we're doing what we're doing. So we are doing gratitude radio to help and support people to understand what gratitude is all about. Just being in the flow of gratitude really makes us closer to abundance, closer to energy, closer to happiness, and you can feel that every second, every minute, and every guest of mine is just here to support you with me at every corner, at every hurdle that you may be facing, just with being there, present in the moment. And I'm Geetha Krishnan here. I'm a corporate behavioral trainer. Have been training for the last 17 years, and I feel very honored and proud to have touched over 30,000 people's lives, trying to change as much as I can some aspect of it. And even if I have been able to do that for 1%, I'm feeling that right now in this moment. I'm truly honored to just feel that. And that is what I wanted to share. And just feeling that and being able to teach people to thank and laugh all the way to the bank is it's my mission. And that is what we're doing with Gratitude Leadership Summit as well as Gratitude Radio Live every week, Thursday at the same time. And I would just give a warm big hug to my dearest friend right now sitting in front of me and would like to share a little more about Marta. Dear Marta Zarrella, let me share a little more about her. Marta is a small publisher whose greatest joy is helping others find their voice and create books that inform, educate, or inspire, and is immensely grateful to have her talented daughter as a business partner. Absolutely. Marta feels blessed to have done many things in her life. She's earned some awards and experienced a traumatic event or two, all of which led to this late in life career, which she feels is her true calling. And I'm so honored and blessed to call my the person sitting right in front of me who has been part of such amazing books like, I just want you to share each and every aspect of the writing sphere that you've touched, especially with Jack Canfield and with people whom have you have interacted, and what life's journey. It's basically Marta Zarrella. Who is Marta Zarrella, and what is it that made her? Writing itself has made her who she is today, and with Kate, along with her beautiful daughter as her partner, and we met. Actually, we went on this beautiful gratitude march together with Kate and yourself, mother-daughter duo, and me. And Kate is right there. So, big hello to you, dear. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And a big warm welcome to the both of you, and especially to you, Marta. It's been such an honor to know you, and you have supported me when I wrote my first book, Journey to the Stage, with my chapter. You edited the whole chapter for me and gave me the directions how I should go about doing it. When I was absolutely clueless what I should do and how should I even start writing, and you gave me the direction, and it just came through so beautifully, and everybody looks at it and they have a tear in their eye, and I'm so grateful to you. Yeah, thank you.
That is my favorite kind of person to work with. The inspired who wants to write and has no clue. I really love the opportunity to help situations like that.
Exactly. I just read what I read about you right now, and exactly that's what popped up in my mind. Is that I have to acknowledge and give a testimonial to Marta right here, which is so inspiring. So many more. I'm sure I've written 2 books already. I've been writing poems since I was a little girl, and articles and everything. But yet still, it's always everything. Every time you write, the first word or the number of words that you write, I've been writing practically every day, and even so, every time the first time you write, it's always new. It's something that just pulls you back and sometimes pushes you in, and sometimes you don't want to get off it, and sometimes you just can't sit and write. So all these things come together. So that is what I want to talk to you about today. And please share your journey, your writing journey with gratitude. How are you grateful for the writing journey that you've had?
Whoa. Well, first I want to say that I met you at the very beginning of my journey as a freelance writing coach. I was not yet public. We met in 2014 at the
Yes.
yeah. So I maybe had already established my company, but I had not embraced publishing completely. I was mostly freelance writing services, editorial, and author support. What I remember most about meeting you at the what was it called, the
Women's
Women's Prosperity Network. Yeah,
yes. Unconference.
The Unconference. I remember you doing your native dance, and I thought that was so lovely. And then Saturday night, we all danced, and I danced like a fool. It was so much fun, and we've just continued since then. But my education is actually accounting and computer science, and so left brain, right brain. It's very, very interesting. My writing journey began. This is actually my first novel.
Wow.
It's a dystopic novel. It's people have called it the prequel to George Orwell's 1984. It was my first book, so it had holes, and it never was huge, but it was bestseller in 2 major markets and for my publisher. But that book, my kids were born in Florida and grew up there, and we moved to California when they were in middle and high school. So my job at that point in time was to help settle the family, to help my kids at that important age feel at home. And so I started taking writing classes to fill my day and to keep my mind engaged. I didn't know anyone, and so the writing courses filled my time. And that was 2001. I started doing that. 2003, I started selling my writing. I started earning 10 cents a word, which is pretty darn good. So I liked it. I liked it. Fast forward to around 2015 when my father-in-law passed away, and that impacted my marriage at the time very much. My ex-husband, Kate's dad, changed, grief, mourning, I don't know, but I was lost. And I started working on a writing prompt from my class. And this book came from that writing. I just wrote every day. Writing is cathartic. That's what you and I discussed a little bit this morning. Exactly. I just poured my thoughts out in fiction form. I back then I was more, the non-creative side of my brain. I had to use that energy for something. So I wanted to fix one of my writing prompts from my class. And I started pouring my thoughts and my confusion into this piece of fiction. And as people read it, they loved it. I saw in the newspaper, a professional writers group was filling a seat, and you had to be published and you had to be seeking publication. So I applied. I got that seat. 5 of us applied. I got that seat. It's a very prestigious group of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I was I was in my early 50s, I guess.
Okay.
But they loved and supported my writing so much, which now I love to give that to others because it meant so much to me. Anyway, so I published the book in 2013. And at the time I was writing for a newspaper in San Diego, and people started asking me about books. And that's how I evolved to be, a book publisher now. So writing, there are two kinds of writers. There are outline writers and there are inspiration writers. I've worked with both. I much prefer the inspiration writers like you, where you have this burning inside of you and you don't know how to get it out. The outline writers are more type A people. And that's an excellent process. They have to get their thoughts organized, they have to do the outline, they have to do the research, and then they write. Both of those things work. The important thing is to get those thoughts out of your head and into a computer, into a notebook, into a journal. A lot of people worry about, am I using the right words? Am I putting commas where they belong? Am I misspelling? They get stuck in the technical, the grammar. And the very first thing to do, I call a brain dump. Just get everything out of your mind. And that is cathartic. That writing, whether it's on a computer, on a piece of paper, in the dirt, it just allows you, like meditation, it allows you to clear your mind. And I call them light bulb moments. When I convince beginning writers to forget about the structure, forget about the goal, whether you're a business person writing a business book, somebody doing poetry, somebody wanting to do fiction, just do a brain dump, get all of that out of your head and into paper. It's like putting the ingredients of a loaf of bread. You first get the ingredients, just get them all out there, and then you massage them and make the beautiful bread. You don't worry that the sugar doesn't look right or the flour is a little darker than usual. You just put it out there.
Exactly. I totally get that. And somehow, when I saw the topic, this is what, and it totally connected with what you said just now, is writing with gratitude. Writing is a form of meditation. You're getting all your, as rightly said by you, it's totally cathartic. But at the same time, you also, there's so many, we are inspired to write. So at that instant, when you get that inspiration, you just have to get those thoughts out. It's so powerful. It's so, especially when I'm writing poems, if I get an idea and I start working on that, and immediately it just flows and it's on the paper. And then until it's on the paper, I'm not, I'm not comfortable. I'm not in that state. I'm in the state of mind. Any kind of disturbance, any kind of intrusion, if it comes in, immediately, if your attention goes there, you kind of get away from the link to what you're writing, isn't it? So it's very important for us to be focused and get the thing out, as you rightly said. So it's again a form of meditation. You are totally in the moment. You are focused on what you're writing. You're focused on your ideas in the flow of it. And just like both the kind of writers, everything comes together, isn't it? Like maybe an inspired writer or an organized writer. You just have to organize yourself to get all the inspired thoughts out. So it's just gets together.
These days, this is a very good tool. Every smartphone has a voice recorder on it.
Okay.
So when you cannot write your thoughts, just capture them. Just capture them on your voice recorder, and when you're able, then transcribe them into your computer, your notebook, whatever. This was my, this was my, not my, I worked on a lot of books between this one and this one, but I contributed to this anthology with Jack Canfield.
Yes.
It's I think he's got 2 or 3 books in the series. It's called Road to Success.
Okay.
A friend of mine purchased this cover with my picture on it for me.
Wow.
It's very cute, but
So beautiful.
it's a collaboration. There are 50 chapters. Jack is the first chapter, and then 49 entrepreneurs that we all had to, be interviewed, provide our story, and then our idea for a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already working with authors, and so my chapter is called. What is my chapter called? Do you remember what it's called? I need to put on my glasses to read the chapter title. Anyway, potholes, detours, and bumps in the road.
Okay.
Potholes, detours, and bumps in the road. The road to success, the road of life. In my chapter, which was an editor's choice, I'm really proud of that because there's a lot of incredible people who wrote chapters for that book. But I highlighted myself and 2 of the authors that I had been working with. And the theme of my chapter is your pain is your power. The 2 people that I wrote about both have written books about their lives. With my help, I worked on both of those books. One is this beautiful 92, 93-year-old gentleman lives in Los Angeles. He was born in Budapest, Hungary. Okay. And as a child, he's the only son of his parents. As a child, he, as they lived in a basement, he would go out at night to find food for them to eat because they're Jewish. So they were hiding from the Nazis at that time. Tom escaped Budapest. He and his best friend, who is still alive and living in San Francisco, they escaped by hanging on the underside of a train as it moved and crossed the border to get them out of Hungary. I mean, his story is incredible. He got to the United States through Britain. He has 2 PhDs in mechanical engineering. He has 3 PhDs total. He has had an incredible career. He helped design the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. He helped design the luggage moving system, which was state-of-the-art at the time. And he worked on the Hubble telescope. He's just an amazing man and so humble and so grateful. So he was fueled by his childhood to make something of his life. And the other story is a woman I work with who at 40 was diagnosed as an early Alzheimer's person. She was feeling depressed and she was feeling tired and she knew something was going on. And so she has been a research patient for Alzheimer's, trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's for about 15 years now. And she wrote a book about that with her neurologist. And so she tells her story and he layers in the science behind what was going on with her. It's a fascinating book. And so the theme of the chapter is we can fall in the hole and get lost, or we can allow that experience to lift us farther than we ever thought we could go. And I think for Jamie, the Alzheimer's lady, writing about her life was incredibly healing. For Tom, writing about his life was just so much fun because he did his book in his late 80s. And it was kind of cathartic for another reason. He was looking at end of life, which he's still with us. But all of that, it clears your mind and it fills your heart. Writing clears your mind and fills your heart, in my opinion.
Absolutely, definitely. And there's no two thoughts to that, because every time you write, you put your pen to your paper or you're typing out, whichever way we may be doing it, it just gets our whole system to empty ourselves of all the angst that we may have, all the thoughts, good and bad, many a times, all that come out. Especially if you're writing fiction, is even more better because you can put so much more into that.
Yeah.
As opposed to writing your own story. So there's
But
so much.
When people, excuse me, when people are struggling, why not get a notebook or buy a journal? I'm not one to journal, but I will. I'm going back in time. In 2007, our home burned to the ground in California, and that was kind of the end. 2007 it was, yeah, 2007. That was the beginning of the end of everything that was my past and the past for our family. And I started journaling by writing emails every single day to my group of friends. I would process my thoughts every single day. That's a way to journal. Pull out that notebook. I have pets all my life. I have talked to my pets. That's a form of journaling. I get my thoughts out to them, and if I have an inspired idea today, I record it to my phone. Just don't keep that stuff in your head. If you can write it down, so many people in today's world of print on demand and ease of access to people like me, a lot of people journal and then they read the journal and say, wow, this could help somebody else. And it becomes a book. So don't be scared of writing, and don't worry that your writing isn't grammatically correct. Just put your thoughts on paper, put your thoughts in the computer, put your thoughts in a voice recorder. Just get them out and clear your mind so that you can get new inspiration.
Absolutely. That is so powerful, Marta, because when we, as you rightly said, when we put our thoughts into something, automatically we get all those, we kind of drain ourselves to some extent, but yet still we give a lot of open space to receive a lot of good things inside of us. So that is really very, very powerful. There are many people over here who are saying hello. I just want to acknowledge all our dear friends watching us. A big shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. And let me just read out a few comments which have come up here, Marta. Alka hey, she calls out to us. She says good. She's loving the session. Robert, hey, Robert says good morning to us. And Robert, Ruthvi, and there are so many more watching us. Hey, Ruthvi, thank you so much, dear, for joining us today. Milind Digay, he's watching us. Hey, Milind, thank you so much for joining us today. Robert shares, I know how to get it out. Those thoughts get out all over live streams. Okay, so he uses live streams to get his thoughts out. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Robert. And I do save those voluminous comments. Very good. And he keeps sharing on comments too. So those are his ways of getting his writing out. That is perfect. He has a pantry overflowing of ingredients. So it feels so very good. That is amazing. Thank you.
Great metaphor.
Great metaphor, isn't it? Perfect. But it feels better within the heart of the person that the comment is aimed at. Yes, absolutely. So Live transcribes a free Google app. It is very accurate and fast. This is the funniest part. So I'm reading my messages on Google, and the moment I say Google, it automatically goes to my Google Voice mode. So all of a sudden, the screen just went blank. And Robert shares. Hi, Jolly. She's watching us. Hey, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful session. Please do listen right from the start if you just joined in, because Marta has been sharing pearls of wisdom, and especially about writing, how writing can be a form of meditation for us, how it can be cathartic. You can get your thoughts out. So please do watch us right from the start. Robert also shares that's probably one of the worst things that can happen to a person that took my stepfather from us. Dementia took his grandma. So he's sharing about that. So he talks about there are so many blessings that's happened in life. So he's not too much for fiction, but he's wanting to share his own stories, and that's a way to form a habit. Wonderful. It's probably while we were talking, he's been sharing. So I'm just reading the messages. That's really wonderful. I put it here in the comments. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely. That's a way to form a habit. Yes, absolutely. And put it here in the comments of shows done by those giving back. And it makes absolute sense. Absolutely right. So this way for him happens from within a place of purpose. There is much joy generated and new friendships also result, not to mention the energy for living in abundance. That is so powerful. That is so
true.
It's so true. Absolutely. And Arasu, hey Arasu, thank you so much. He shares that we are amazing. Thank you. Truly honored. Fabulous super session, ma'am. You rock. Thank you so much. Miracle session. Super wonderful knowledge to gain a lot of new ideas. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Arasu. It's truly an honor to be able to interact with people, and when they share their thoughts, their ideas. Remember, right from our shows and calls so many years back, since it's been 5 years, Marta, since I started Dynamic Growth with Gratitude, the radio show as a conference call, and you were one of my earliest guests, my dearest friends, each and every one of you. So it's like a party, isn't it? It's like a gratitude, warm blanket which we envelop around ourselves. And you had shared that the first time.
At the beginning, in the early years, I was of your Thursday morning gratitude call. I would get up, I would do my early morning thing, get my coffee, and get on the phone. And I said to you, Geetha, I said, it's like my warm Thursday morning hug, and I cannot wait for it. We've been, since Kate came on board, especially, we've been really, really busy, so I don't do it as much on Thursdays, but you do generate a warm Thursday hug, without a doubt.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to share another book.
Please do.
The Google Voice comment inspired it. So
okay.
This is the $1 billion branding blueprint by a gentleman who lives in New York City named Bernd Ullman. He is in the fashion industry. He's my age, actually. And Damon John is one of the celebrities he worked with. He helped Jennifer Lopez.
I know Damon John. I've met him.
Yeah, we have as well. But Bernd, when Damon and his friends were working out of Damon's mother's house, first starting his FUBU clothing line. Excuse me. FUBU was a streetwear line that Damon John started years and years ago. I think it was in the 70s, 80s. The guys needed money. They needed help. They had a lot of orders, and they were the three friends and some of their other friends bought sewing machines, and they were sewing this clothes in Damon's mother's house. They took over her living room, her house. So they put an ad in the New York Times saying we have too many orders, we need money to fulfill them. And that's how Bernd got involved through somebody else. And he helped Damon take FUBU to be successful in America. And Bernd he's from Europe, so he took them international. So he's working with Damon again. And he's worked with J.Lo, Mark Anthony, all of the fashion designers. He worked with Donna Karan for a while. Anyway, so this book was written, it's Bernd's outline, but he's a very, very busy man. So he partnered with a marketing expert named AJ Adams. Bernd gave AJ his outline. They talked about concepts. AJ basically put this book together on Google Voice. He dictated all the book. And then we got the dictated file. And I tell you, Google Voice is sometimes the funniest thing in the world.
Tell me about
it. Context, understand, what Google Voice translated AJ to be. And, it's so fun and so funny. But the point is, this book was 90% written through Google Voice.
Wow.
So use those tools. We're very lucky today that we have them. Yeah.
I totally agree on that. Because the more we use these tools, the more we are able to. In fact, the moment you mentioned this, I received a message like in the morning. Yesterday, I did a session for. There's an organization here, BHEL, and I did a session for them on Teams communication, effective communication in Teams, online and offline, especially in these difficult times.
Yeah.
So how better can they improve their communication when they're online, and how can they take it over when they actually meet in person? So it was an amazing session. There were over 150 plus people attending it, and they shared a letter of appreciation. So I shared it to somebody, and the person came up, and so they had created a nice brief profile, all the things that I've been doing and everything. They put it together. So so this person reached out to me, and he asked me, "But what do you do exactly?" And this was my answer: is I wear different hats at different times.
Absolutely.
So using all these tools and gadgets and so many other support system that we have, and wonderful loving teachers like yourself, so many people to support us, the family, and of course and the network of the team and everybody. It's possible to do sometimes, which may be unthinkable, which may be like earlier times, as you rightly said, in your earlier life, you were an account professional, and then you moved on to writing. But if you compare, or rather, if you just envision that Marta and now, I'm sure right now, even whatever age that you may be, that's setting that apart. You are able to do a lot more things as opposed to what you may have done then. At that time, children were our focus, just the same for me. But when we come to this point, it's possible and it's doable, and we can, and we are able to, and we should, if we can, to be able to put forward ourselves. So earlier, maybe I may have thought of, oh, somebody's asking me, what do you do exactly? I would have told them, you know what, I do this. I may have just said one thing, but now I feel a lot more confident to share that. If somebody comes and tells me, you are jack of all trades, I said, excuse me, I'm the master of all trades. So it doesn't bother me anymore. It's
my whole life I've been a curious person. And yes, I got a Bachelor of Business Administration in accounting. I was never the best accounting, but I was never the best accountant. I did pure accounting for 5 years, and I do that again for our business. I'm the editor-in-chief, and I do all the dishwashing and bottle washing. I do the books. We have a CPA, but I keep those records. I do the contracts. We work with an attorney to get the structure and all of that, and Kate does all the graphic design. So we're very, very different, but we blend well. What I did well, I've always been a good people manager. And in my corporate career, I was with GTE Corporation for 12, 13 years. That they were bought out by Verizon, so it's a Verizon company now. But in a very short time, I rose to Director of Strategic Planning. And I love strategic planning. I see, because I'm curious, I see the piece parts and the bits and pieces. So that part of my past really helps the writing of books, especially the editing of nonfiction books. But the people managing, I love people's stories. I absolutely love people's stories. Raising children gives you such a different layer of perspective. I have done, as you said in the intro, I've done so many things in my life, and now all of those things. I mean, I was a community volunteer doing many things. All of that comes to play because I can usually connect with an author on some level. I'm old. I'm in. I'm on my way. Counting the years to retirement. I'm going to be 65 soon, actually. So another 2 or 3 years. But with all of that life and all of that life experience that is, packed in my saddlebags, I can usually find something with, even these incredible, accomplished people that have credentials that blow your minds. There's always something that in my life, which I've been a jack of all trades like you, and it's challenging, but it's beautiful because you get to experience so much and meet so many people.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really fun.
It really completes you. It gives you the opportunity to experience and experiment with various things, learning various things from in different directions, and somehow, like right now, as you rightly said, writing, though that's a core, everything is supporting you to do it better. All the experiences that you have had, even with me, it's a form of meditation. Again, everything that you do, it's not that you do the same thing, the one thing, with 10 other things. But you do different things at different times,
Right.
Focusing on those different things at that particular time. So according to me, that is multitasking, as opposed to doing 10 things at the same time. But we are doing different things at different times, but being completely 120% focused, 200% focused on what you may be doing at that time. So that makes all the difference. And yes, so each and everything, especially when we are writing with gratitude, when we are doing everything with the whole essence, being in the moment and doing with complete gratitude for the moment, for the work that we are doing, with utmost concentration, with utmost devotion, automatically it does turn out absolutely brilliant, beautiful, like a jewel, the gold jewel that we love wearing on us. It's totally, isn't it?
I said about writing that people get so stuck on the correctness of it, on the technical, tactical, grammar, spelling, all of that. And I think in terms of meditation, a lot of people give up because they think meditation is eyes closed, cross-legged with a mantra. Meditation is mind clearing to connect with inspired thoughts, connect with source, connect with God, connect with the universe, whatever you call it. And there's no right way. I think the neatest thing in my life and for the people that I just really adore working with, you sometimes in my line of work, you get to work with people that are kind of a little bit stuck in the negative and don't know how to get out. My advice to that is when bad stuff happens, when you're stuck in the negative, then take a moment to think about that and find the nugget of sunlight, the gold, the lesson. Why did you have this burden, and what are you able to learn from it? And then add that to your pantry of ingredients, to your suitcase for the future, and and move on. That's meditation. Just quiet contemplation. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Absolutely. 10 on 10, that's putting ourselves, doing that, the meditation, the colloquial way, that's fine, whomever is comfortable. Absolutely. Please do continue doing that. And I do that too. I love doing, taking my time. I put on my meditative music, I light my lamp, and I sit and do my meditation. So that's a form of meditation, and we all should definitely, we encourage you to do that. But at the same time, whatever work that we may be doing, especially writing, when we are writing with a focused mode, it really is a form of meditation, and we can create that in ourselves, in everybody, whomsoever. And as I'm sure Marta will agree with me that anybody can write. There's nothing to oh, so and so person has written so many books, only he or she can write it. Or I never used to write so much before, but then I started writing, and it just, I don't know when I started writing. Somewhere, sometime in college, I
Yeah.
started writing, or maybe even in school. I used to write stories, horror, thriller stories. The kind of Nancy Drew kind of books that I used to read. So I used to write those kind of stories when I was in school. I don't even remember what I wrote, but I have definitely written a couple of good stories, and my friends used to wait for me to read the next chapter.
That's fantastic.
They used to hound me. Is it, you better tell us first before you send it across? I said, okay, fine. That was for my school magazine. So I remember doing that, and then it just stopped, and then again I went back to writing. Probably my sister used to write, and I wanted to write also, and then kind of a little bit of sibling rivalry maybe at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can write, so I can write too, kind of a thing. And then I started writing. She writes beautifully as well, and I continued my writing loads of poems. So I don't know when it started and how it continued, but then when I wrote my books, all of you were there to support me, and I remember when I sent it out to Women's Prosperity Network for the chapter, they said no editing. It just went straight out there. So there was no editing. Thanks to you, Marta. So that was a big, not even of course, spelling mistakes wouldn't be there. But then even apart from that, the kind of structure or anything,
Right.
so there was absolutely 1,500, 2,000 words. Absolutely, there is no editing at all. And even with Courage Under Siege with Peggy Lee Hansen, she said, your chapter goes just as is. And it just went as is. The gratitude matters. And she's told me that there are 10 more books waiting to come outside, Geetha. So we're waiting for that.
There are elements. The brain dump is one thing, to capture your ideas now and to make room for new ones. Stories, there's a story structure that makes for a good story, and that's one of the things that I do like to teach, because so many people say, how many words should my book or my story be? As long as it needs to be. And in your situation in the chapter, you had a word limit, so there are ways to, if you have to produce a 2,500 word essay for this compilation book, and you write 5,000 words, then there are ways to remove the redundancy and what we call noise and get it down to 5,000. That's hard to do, but it's fun to teach. So, yeah, the most important thing is get the thoughts out, and then it can be massaged to what needs to be.
Okay. So many people do have this problem of a writer's block.
Right.
Because sometimes if you have 1,500 words, you may not reach to that point. It may be, maybe you come up with 750 or 1,000 and you're really struggling to get to that 1,500, or you don't know how to go about it. Sometimes it's a lot more, but then many a times people get stuck in, as you rightly said, putting it out there. But then even to put it out there, at that instant, the thoughts may not come in. So how should they, what do you suggest to help them?
Everyone's different. We interviewed one of our authors yesterday. He's a 2-book author so far. We have a 3-book contract with him, but I asked him, what is your creative process? For me, I always have to have a view of nature in my office. Some things I can't write in my office. Fiction I cannot write in my office. I have to go away from the office because that's where I do business stuff. If there's something that inspires you, go to that something, that someplace. Is it mountains? Is it water? Is it a park? Is it somewhere? And clear your mind, see if you become inspired. And another thing that I find very, very powerful is collaboration.
Okay.
Share your work with another person. Start talking about it. You would be surprised how that inspires new ideas. Depending on what you're writing, sometimes pictures trigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to figure out what works for yourself, but never be frightened to
Hmm.
collaborate with others. Never be frightened to find like-minded people, and you may not want to share your work, but maybe you want to talk about what you're writing about and just get that communal energy. That's
Okay.
very stimulating. But figure
Okay.
out where you are inspired,
Hmm.
and go there, meditate, and ask for inspiration.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marta. It's been such a invigorating and enriching journey, as always, interacting with you. Let me read a few more comments. There have been loads of comments just coming up. There are more than 5 to 7, 8 people watching us right now, and also listening to us. So, hey, Nirmalya, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Hey, Jolly shares. I like that. Different hats at different times is a perfect description. I'm going to use that. Okay, Jolly. So let's have a Jolly, and we will have a trademark for that now. Different hats at different times. So she's gonna use it for herself.
Perfect.
That's perfect. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. And Robert shares, and that's my mom. She's watching us. Hey, mom! Thank you so much for joining us. You remember Marta? And there's Sam. Hey, Sam! Thank you so much for joining us. Truly grateful to you, Sam Jonas. And Robert shares, I know who he is. He finally got me into the door of one of his programs. Okay, I don't know who he's talking about. Probably Damon John, or maybe somebody at that point when we were
Gordon
talking.
Coleman, Damon John, Jack Canfield, could be.
Could be
They all have
anybody.
programs.
Yes, Robert, if you're watching us, please let us know whom are you talking about. So we would love to know that. And he shares that my mother has a very nice sewing machine. I don't know how to use that one, so I stuck to the singer. Okay, so he is one jolly good fellow, isn't he? Thank you for the laughs, Robert. Truly grateful. So, no kidding. I used to have so much fun with Google Translate of the past on the show I was a part of on the Christmas season. I noticed that a friend went live, popped up. I headed over there to discover they were speaking a language I had never heard before. Oh gosh, okay, but a little soothing, and he gives us lots of likes. Thank you so much. But a little soothing revealed the language and armed with Google Translate and tiding of goodwill. I was off to the races. So the end result: 3 new friends. Wonderful. That was amazing. Google Translate is the game changer. Is the helper. Is the scene savior for you, Robert. That was awesome. Okay, wonderful. And upon reflection, it has been determined that being me takes up a surprising amount of my time, and I'm good with this as the need to adapt often occurs. I somehow know I will always have something purposeful to do. Yes, absolutely. There's
Very good.
always some purpose that we are focusing on, and I connect with angels, and that is something amazing. And although I do believe in angels, I'm referring to those here that share our form. I have been incredibly blessed to be able to form friendships with these wonderful people. So, absolutely, Robert is a dear friend. He watches our shows, and we connected with Lauren Harris, one of our friends from Chicago, and that's how I know him. And he was also one of my guest speakers. So it's such an honor to be able to connect with wonderful, like-minded people, and you share your thoughts, isn't it? It's just the flow. It start we That's what I love about Gratitude Radio, Marta. it's just so organic. It's so with the flow. We just flow with it, and we know that we are bound by one little simple soft thread of gratitude, and we can just keep weaving our the cloth that we want to, and turn it into a blanket, or turn it into
Absolutely.
a tabletop cover, or maybe a sweater, or just a little uh, swirl around us to feel that and
Yeah.
connect with each other. So that's so powerful, and what better way to do that by just writing down our gratitudes, isn't it? Just being able to write down, pen down, and who better person than yourself sharing that. So please do share your gratitudes for today, Marta. Any three gratitudes that comes to your mind, and
I am so grateful to see you. It's been so long. I mean,
thank you.
I'm grateful for the wonderful feedback. I am grateful for the opportunity to do what I do. I'm grateful that Kate shared her office with me because I love this set. Yeah, just
So
grateful.
yes, absolutely. So
And I'm grateful. You know, we live in a world with all kinds of people, and sometimes the energy is so dark. It's nice to come and pop in somebody's bright and shiny video, the vlogging, the video blog, or look at one of your old videos from your sessions, and just feel that positive light, love energy. It's so nice. And
it's so enigmatic, isn't it? It just enhances
yeah,
every aspect of us
yeah.
just by feeling that powerful energy. And I do this. I write these three gratitudes, and I encourage my clients also to write that. Is just to help them to write in a format. So I've called it the Grateful Path Challenge. So Grateful Path. So writing gratitude for a person, you know, per se, grateful for a person, as you said right now, and why you're grateful for that person, and then writing a gratitude for an activity that you may be doing. So whatever activity, it stands for A, and gratitude for a thing, any particular thing that you envision, you think, or anything that comes to your mind. So it becomes so, even you're inspired, and sometimes know what to write about, you can just think on these lines, and then it helps you more like a little bit of prodding to
like a writing prompt. They're
exactly,
called
exactly,
writing prompt. Yeah.
exactly. And it really helps. And I encourage my clients to do it for 30 days using the prompt. And I ask them to reach out to me at any point. But then generally after 30 days, they don't want to stop that. They want to keep continuing because they've seen the benefit of it. So you're doing it every day. And in some form or the other, penning down, writing it down, as you rightly said, when we write down, it's cathartic. All the thoughts come down to the paper, and it somehow infuses in us some, even into our the memory. It kind of instates it reinstates what we were thinking, and we were writing it down, so it kind of stays in our mind for a longer period of time. And that is what I generally, I've asked everybody, my guests as well as my whomsoever is watching us, to, if you're unable to write down gratitudes, this is a wonderful tool that will help you to support you to start writing your gratitudes. And believe us, both of us have been walking the gratitude practice for so many years. Marta has been living it herself. I have been trying to do that myself. So work and walk with the gratitude feeling in your mind is uh, one thing that is so powerful about gratitude is uh, it doesn't let you steer away from your path. It brings you back
It
to what
anchors,
you want to
it
do.
anchors and it brings balance. It anchors you to your true values, what makes your heart happy. and it brings balance. Like if you're, you know, overly stressed, overly sad, overly worried, gratitude seems to bring that center. Don't you think?
Exactly. Absolutely, absolutely. And it just bounds you to what you want to do. It doesn't allow you to move away from what your focus is. And uh, why not give it a shot? You know, there's so many negative things happening around, and we tend to linger on the negative things. It doesn't help us in any way. But when you give this a shot, you know for sure it's going to help you. So being positive is definitely far more better option than being negative. So even if just to try it out, just move to the gratitude uh, path and start feeling that. And the more you do that, the more you will want to be in the path and not veer away from it. So that was something that I wanted to share. And Marta, please share your passing thoughts before we move on. And big shout out to everybody who was watching us. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank you.
staying with us and sharing. Please keep sharing and share your gratitudes too on the comments so that we would love to hear that as well. And Robert has more to say. My mom says all the best. Thank you so much. I would love to read Robert's. Oh my God, that's so many people. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. All time, hey, all time. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know her name. It doesn't pop up, but it shows as all time. So thank you so much for joining us. Hey, okay, Damon. Robert mentioned about Damon John.
Okay.
Damon.
Yeah.
Okay. Olga Valdepena, thank you so much for joining us, lady. Thank you. Robert has some comments to share. I would love to read them. It's the stuff that makes life worth living. Yes, absolutely. Just look at these comments, see what you have inspired. Thank you most.
Thank you. I want to say one closing comment, and that is a piggyback to your beautiful comments on staying in gratitude. That is always a goal, but please don't beat yourself up if on a bad day you are thinking sad or lonely or worried. Don't beat yourself. Just do what you can to get back on gratitude row,
Exactly.
because there you deserve to love yourself. Don't don't beat yourself up.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Marta, on that. And that you mentioned that this comes to my mind is many times, you know, especially when I still am, but when I was really going through a lot of pain with my ankle issue, and you know how much I love to run.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's like running is a form of meditation for me, and I just used to get up in the morning just to go for my run. You know, that was my one the start of the morning thing that I used to look forward to, and I miss it so much. I really miss it so much, especially my running and my dance. Both of these two things are so close to my heart, and a form of meditation, form of physical activity, you name it. You know, it just used to encompass me in the best way that it could. And a little break, a little small injury, and everything came to a standstill point, and I had to be on the chair for a lot more than I expected. But yet still, what I want to say here is, even if you are, you know, you are told to stop for whatever reasons, you have been able to or not been able to do certain things, wanting to go back and going back to what you really want is something that as you rightly said, you know, going through a difficult time, that's okay, and we needn't beat ourselves about that, but getting back to what you want to do. So um, even if I am not able to run, I can still walk. I can still walk around place. I can still do my yoga and certain activities which I can take care of my ankle, and at the same time keep doing certain aspects of the meditative form that I want to do. So it's how you work around the situation
Right.
also,
Right.
like to not just keep beating ourselves up, loving ourselves no matter what, feeling that yes, this is something amazing, we can still work around that, whatever, be grateful for the situation, even if it's difficult, even if it's challenging, you did overcome that.
Yeah. 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 It's an obstacle put in your way to learn something. You know, you're learning how to be okay without the running.
Yes,
You're honoring your ankle for being there for you, even though it
absolutely.
failed for just a moment. And it'll be so much sweeter when you can get back to it, if you can. And if you can't, you'll figure your next thing to do. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not anymore,
Yeah.
mind-boggling or bothering me down, pushing me down, but I've let it go, and I'll definitely go back to it. I know for sure at some point. I'm
Yeah.
still young, and
Yeah.
I can run all my life.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, so it's just the moment you said that, I thought this is the right point to reiterate, that this is something that we need to come outside of and look forward to and try to work around it and keep doing what you're doing in the best way that you can. I mean, it may bring stops once in a while, but then coming back to, just not letting it go. And many times people tend to take up some form of exercise or some form of dieting, to get their weight under control. And then once it's slightly okay, then they go back to their normal routine, and then it's difficult. But then the point is, we need to come back to what is right.
Right.
What is it that we need to do, and then you'll be fine. So that's something that I wanted to share. And there are so many,
Write
so many.
about that agony. Write about the agony of not being able to run.
Yes. Catharsis. I'll put it down on paper. I've been doing that. It's really been very meditative. That's the reason I came up with the topic.
Yeah.
Writing is meditative, and
Yeah.
it really gets so much out of you. And so Robert has something amazing to share with all of us. So thank you so much, Robert, for sharing. And please, collect all these comments, and I'm sure a book would definitely be out very soon from Robert, because he's written such amazing thoughts here. And although I do believe in angels, I'm referring to those here that share our form. I have been incredibly blessed to be able to form friendships with these people. And it was all born out of adversity. If that constructive dismissal hadn't happened, I would have never known that there was a world of people that see things from my perspective, that are interested in what I have to say, that in their individual ways all want to make the world a better place. So much gratitude, but also more joy experienced the past 2.5 years than the previous 50 put together. Oh my God, that's powerful, isn't it? So powerful. Thank you so much. A big kudos to you, Robert. Thank you so much for sharing. And he shares that I can tell you when writing began in earnest, and I have Ty Lopez and that epic YouTube pre-roll ad. I mean, that hook, it hit me dead center. I mean, there weren't that many people that were lying on a couch on a trailer park in Clayton, North Carolina, but I did that, and it was what you would call a disruption to life then. But that hook had me to do Thai's 67-step program, and while I did that, I wrote a blog post each of those days after I did that day's step. That was so amazing, and
So good. Yeah.
that was really powerful. And my writing is inspired by the angels I connect with on the live streams I grab the attention at, and then shine that spotlight back on the host to ensure the energy is flowing how it should, that those giving back know what they are doing still matters, that they are relevant, and that they are loved. That is so
So
amazing.
good. So good.
So good. So very good. Thank you so much, Robert. And I mean, it's stuff that makes life worth living. Absolutely. I would love to read it. Marta, I would sincerely want you to read the messages whenever you have
Yeah, I will.
back to. He's shared such amazing. His former dentist is a wreck, addicted to marathons. Okay, so now you're coming to my running. Okay, let me sit. Hold on to my chair. So those elliptical machines are very effective. I used to have a Nordic track cross country ski simulator, and he loved it, but it was so loud to use. So even walking, I began pacing myself and then started pushing myself to walk faster. The working title of that one is Spotlighting Angels. Okay, so he's writing a book probably, and he's spotlighting angels. That's, I'm sure all these would come under his book. You should get all these thoughts in the book, Robert. They are so powerful and so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it with all of us, and especially with us right now.
Yes.
It's something so encouraging to the both of us that we could inspire to um, want you to write. And he's been writing so beautifully and so fast. That's the best part. And you should be able to write in the flow of the words that's coming through, and exactly what Marta said just now. So thank you so much, Marta, for giving me your time, giving all of us your time and encouragement and support, and so many tools that we could take away from this beautiful session. And thank you, Kate, for helping us set this all up. And give a big thank you.
Thank you for doing everything you do, Geetha.
Thank you so much. Truly honored. And I love and I miss you guys. I keep remembering our walk, a gratitude walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have all the collection of pictures. I would love to send it to you, and we would maybe we can do something about that as well. And thank you, Kate. Thank you, Marta. Big hello. Big
pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Your birthday morning hug.
Birthday morning hug. Absolutely. Yeah. It's evening hug from here, from India.
Yeah.
But it's still the same. The energy is still the same. And thank you again. Truly, truly grateful to you. And thank you to all our viewers, all our listeners. And please do share the video so that many more people can benefit with what we are talking about, especially about writing and why writing is meditative, how it can be helpful to you if you're going through a difficult phase. It can be a form of cathartic, getting your angst out, getting your fear out, or getting your pain out of you. Totally, it can clear your mind, and how gratitude itself can be helpful to you to work towards more abundance and happiness in every facet of life, not just money, not just health, but even your peace of mind and your energy itself. So please do share. Marta, please share your information, how people can reach you if they want to be coached or would like to write a book. Please do share your information.
Please visit our website. It's callingcardbooks.com. I started with that name because I expected to do only nonfiction books, and your book is a calling card that lasts forever. So callingcardbooks.com. Find us. And thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thank you so much. I love the name, and please reach out to callingcards.com. We have also we've shared the link on the page, so please do reach out to Marta, and you can reach me at geethakrishnan.com. It's there right in front of you in the video, or ping me on the messenger here in Facebook or LinkedIn, Geetha Krishnan. You can also reach out to me on my email, geethakrishnaninspires@outlook.com. It's GeethaKrishnan inspires INSPIRES @outlook.com. So thank you so much, Marta. A big hug. Before we move ahead, there's two more things out here people would like to share. Robert says one more thing. This event that has shut things down, it is to me a huge blessing in the way that so many more so many people at once found themselves pulled into living within the moment. It is up to those already there to help everyone understand that within the moment is the place where maximum potential to live resides. And that is so true. That is so true. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
see
you.
this necklace, Geetha, Robert? I made
Ah,
it here in quarantine.
oh,
Yeah, I had the
oh,
stone forever, and Kate has been incredibly inspired to sew. She's been sewing like a maniac, and I made this necklace and 3 or 4 pairs of earrings. So yes, the
wow.
quarantine, Robert, I agree. It's been a blessing in disguise. Absolutely. People are finding gratitude and being appreciative for things they took for granted. It's beautiful.
That is so true. That is so true. And more, we realize that everything around us, especially going out in the fresh air. Now the air is a lot more fresher, especially here in Mumbai. Everything is in a
Yeah,
lockdown and there's
yeah,
not so much pollution, but we are unable to go out. So that itself is a kind of a pointer to understand how important nature is, how important Mother Nature.
absolutely.
She's been taking care of us so much, and we should really appreciate and thank that. And Elise Jolly shares with us, Geetha, I'm actually editing the English version of a book right now. Oh my God, Jolly, you're writing? Oh, a translation from Portuguese. Okay, so she is translating, editing the English version of a book. That is fantastic. Jolly actually uh, is was a teacher of my son's teacher at
Oh,
school,
very nice.
and she was a middle school ESOL teacher. And so when we joined in middle school, and that's when he started off at the 6th grade. That's when he started off at school, and Jolly was one of the teachers at the school, and she became my best friend. And we did so much stuff together. We actually did
Beautiful.
gigs together at the school, and she helped me, get speaking engagements. I did a lot of speaking engagements with her support, and even at the school, I was able to do a lot of speaking and doing workshops. And Jolly has been my dearest friend since then. We've shared recipes and had our talks, mother-in-law talks, and typically everything under the sun. And I'm so grateful to her. So grateful to you, Jolly. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Big hug to you, and thank you. And what else? Yeah, callingcardsbook.com. Yes, that's the link. Robert has shared that for you.
And then
And
we would be thrilled and honored if your watchers find us on social media at CCB Power of Story. We're on
come again. We
the
missed.
at sign CCB Power of Story.
Okay.
That's
At sign.
Instagram.
Yeah, I'll type it here. At
Yeah.
sign CCB
Power of Story.
power of story. It's on Instagram, I believe, isn't it?
Instagram and Twitter, and then
Oh,
on Facebook we're Calling Card Books.
perfect.
So, yeah.
So at CCB Power of Story, please do like and share. It's on Instagram as well as Twitter, and on Facebook it's Calling Cards Books book.com.
Right.
Correct?
Calling Card
Yes.
Books.
Callingcardbooks.com. Perfect.
And our children's series, the wife of the author is she's Brazilian, and so Jolly, reach out. We may want to translate the book into Portuguese.
Ooh, Jolly, go ahead.
Whoops.
Yes, please connect with Marta. She is an amazing, dearest friend, and both of you are just, equally loving to me and equally lovable to me. So just connect, and you would create magic. I can assure you of that. And Jolly says you're very special to me. Yes, I know. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. I'm so grateful for being able to connect with such amazing people all over the world, and especially while I was staying in North America. All of us met, and it was just with you, with Sharon Frame, with um, Peggy Lee Hansen, and each and every one of you and all the sisters. It was just instantaneous. It was just, we didn't have to think twice. It was just at that table we started talking, and magic started happening. So absolutely. And Johnny Regan, of course, he was he would just reiterate. He'll just tell me, Geetha, just sit here, and it was Velma. Do you remember
Velma. I adore Velma. Kate's actually working on a sizzle reel project for Gina Batty.
Okay. Yes, of course, Gina. Yeah.
Gina's doing amazing. But yeah, Kate is collaborating with her on a couple of different things. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Wonderful. I'm still in touch with Gina, and she was in India sometime, but that I was in the US then, but then I don't think she's visited after that. So maybe I'll check with her. You don't know when things are going to move to actually visiting now, but then let's hope for the best. Everything will come,
Absolutely.
and let's all absolutely be grateful for whatever that we can do during the time that we are doing right now, and support each other time and again, and be together. Totally. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marta. Thank you again. Big warm hug again. Love you. Big hugs to you. Thank you. Take care. Bye, everyone. And stay in touch. Do share our video because it was just amazing today. So please do share at various places wherever you can. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.